All right, let's switch into some of the actual issues at hand going here. The USMCA. Still kind of out there on the table. Where do we stand currently on that?
USMCA, which is President Trump's replacement for NAFTA, which is 25 years old, has been successfully negotiated. Both the Mexicans and the Canadians have approved this deal, and now it needs a vote in the House. Nancy Pelosi could have voted on this anytime since last March. She's held that up, I think, for political purposes. She says she's trying to get to yes, but 100,000 Arkansans want her to get to yes sooner because that's what we have in employment tied to our trade with Canada and Mexico.
And I guess there's sort of as a little bit of a refresher, what all would that do and kind of how does this directly affect Arkansas?
Great point. It preserves the agricultural trade between the two countries with America and opens the dairy market in Canada for the first time. It creates intellectual property protections. It creates digital trade. It preserves the oil and gas trade. But very importantly, the definition of North American content, which in the past was about 60% American, it moves that number up dramatically. So President Trump got what he wanted, which is the definition of North American content in the auto industry is going to attain more American production. And that was a big thing that he wanted in this revised deal. So, in addition, it's got better labor standards in Mexico. That was a failing point in the original North American Free Trade Agreement negotiations. So on that basis, I think it should be approved, and I think it would pass overwhelmingly in the House and Senate.
And obviously kind of a boon for the agricultural industry here in Arkansas.
Boon for agriculture, but also manufactured goods. And as I say, we are, in Arkansas, our largest trading partners for both ag and non-ag are Mexico and Canada.
There you go. Got to keep the neighbors happy here. Quickly, speaking of trade here, U.S.-China always seems to be a little bit dicey. You kind of see some headway, but then there's just always something that seems to rear its head here. Where do we stand with the Chinese?
Well, President Trump is trying to get an interim deal with China right now on agricultural trade and potentially concrete changes for intellectual property. Honestly, it's good for both sides. I think China needs this deal and the U.S. needs this deal. But I'm not convinced that we will get a good deal that really benefits American manufacturers and protects them from piracy in China. We haven't had success in that in 25 or 30 years. But I appreciate the president leading the charge on this. I hope he's successful. All of us in Congress want him to be successful on opening up China markets, stopping intellectual property piracy, and getting our ag and manufactured and servicing products into China.
And obviously the ag, once again, sort of the big thing here in Arkansas. I know it kind of opens some of that rice and that soybean market as well for them.
Well, it does, and it would reduce the tariff burdens. And President Trump's tariffs on China caused them to retaliate, which hurt our soybean farmers here in Arkansas. So we want a good deal, but we want a measurable deal and an enforceable deal with China.